All right, welcome back to Politically Homeless. I'm Dave. Thanks for watching. Feeling extra politically homeless today. Don't forget to check out Patreon if you want to support this channel and also the work I do on my other channel called The Real Misery Observer. No, I'm kidding. But it is. It's all about observing the misery and the changes in every part of daily life, whether it's entertainment or culture or politics. So we're over here today, at least I am. Maybe you are if you're watching. And I'm wondering what is left of this republic at this stage? Like, what we had the Speaker of the House get ousted by a group of 8 people without any plan. They had no plan. This was just like a scalp. Like, we got him. Okay, Kevin McCarthy seems like a very nice man. I listened to his speech. I may not like his politics, but he doesn't seem like an unhinged whack job. He had a difficult task trying to herd all the cats together. See, the Democrats are always in lockstep, walking together. The Republicans, on the other hand, are, again, like herding the cats. Then you have Steve Bannon, who has his wonderful show. He stokes the Republican Party meltdown. All right. Now, if there is no Republican Party, think about this, okay? And I'm not a big Republican fan, but you already have, you hear about the Uniparty all the time. You have a few Republicans who are trying to oppose the machine. People like Thomas Massie, who's one of my favorites. Matt Gaetz can actually vote in a decent way, but he's basically a showboater. He's trying to be, the next Donald Trump or something. Maybe he'll get a reality show in a couple of years. Rumor has it he's going to run for governor of the state of Florida. Yeah, no, I'm not a big fan of Matt Gaetz. I think that what we need is steady leadership. We need somebody who can appeal to the normies out there. And I say this as somebody who's a political junkie, but I notice that the normies, they pick up things like government shutdown bad, McCarthy ousted bad. The reactions that I'm hearing are people just, their quick take, their 40-hour work week, their few hours of relaxation at night and on the weekends, and they hear these news stories and they're like, what the heck is going on? And then Trump, every time you turn on the TV, Trump is in a courtroom. Donald Trump is living in a courtroom. I'm sorry, that perception, I know the Trumpers are just like, this is the master plan. You'll see, they say, please don't discount Donald Trump. He's in this to the end. And the white hats will show up and arrests will be made and people will be put in handcuffs. And where are they going to be taken to? Is there a mystery jail that they're building somewhere? Is there a parallel economy where the mystery jail gets built and all the criminals go into this jail? And did Trump overvalue his properties? Of course he did. Of course. He's Donald Trump. Remember, he's the greatest. Everything is the biggest, the greatest, the most amazing, incredible, like the most great, beautiful hotels, the greatest properties, the greatest golf courses in the history of the world. And you don't think he would do that? You don't think he would overestimate the value of his stuff? Well, it's still a witch hunt. No, it's a Trump hunt. It's not a witch hunt, okay? The Salem witch trials, okay, I get it. I get where that comes from. But stop with the witch hunt, all right? They're not going after Hillary Clinton. So it's not a witch hunt. It's a Trump hunt. It's a warlock hunt. I don't know. So in any event, the whole political system it's like breaking down. And this is why you've got like an RFK out there. You've got, was it Cornel West now smartly leaving the Green Party. I'm not really into Cornel West because a lot of what these guys propose, on the far left side of the spectrum will eventually involve authoritarianism. I don't want any kind of top down healthcare, anything like, never, ever. ever. The top-down healthcare is what got us the pandemic. Okay, it's what is continuing. Advising, hey, if you got a 6-month-old baby, bring him to CVS. You can get two shots for the price of one. That's the top-down system, and I don't want to have anything to do with that. And if you think you're just going to remove all of the frailties, all the human condition, all of the sin nature out of it, and just no, it's not going to happen. What you need right now, and this is where I'm headed, because if I were 28 years old instead of a few years older, I would say, yeah, I'm going to fight this. I'm going to do this. You know what I want right now? I want managed chaos. That's what I want. I want someone to come in and manage the chaos. They're not going to recreate the system overnight. You're not going to blow up any party, Steve Bannon. You think you're going to blow up? You had how many guys vote with McCarthy? Okay. There was a big hangover after that event where people were like, I can't believe they did this. I can't believe. And I was one of them. I'm like, wow. This has never happened in the history of the country. Just yank the Speaker of the House out of there because they signed documents. Yeah, if we don't like what you do. Imagine waking up every day as Kevin McCarthy and you got handcuffs on. Well, I can only go so far, and I got to be careful. I can't negotiate with anybody, and if I do, it's going to look like I'm a wuss and I'm giving in. Government shutdown. There's a great example of how they use that every single time to create chaos and go, okay, the Republicans are going to shut the government down, and the Republicans don't want to be blamed for that. Hey, everyone, I got newsflash, okay? This is how I'm feeling today. They're printing the money anyway. All right, I'm libertarian. I want them to stop printing the money. Or maybe I'm just a pragmatist at this stage. This is why I'm very fickle. All right, this is why I'm very politically homeless. Because the libertarians have an unrealistic view of how things could be. They may have great ideas if you put them into practice, but there's this huge roadblock. It's called normies, all right? Normies look at everything and say, hey, what's government going to do for me? What are they going to do? I'm starving here, or I'm not able to make ends meet. And they look to the government and say, hey, it's because you guys caused this problem, so give me back. So again, it's a vicious cycle, but that we've been conditioned this way. Well, I don't have enough food. Thank goodness I can go to the food pantry. And that food pantry brought to you by whatever government agency, Department of Agriculture. Their funding allows for this food to go out to food pantries to be sent out to people. And people have to line up, sit in a line for like 2 hours in order to have enough food to make, their week, to get through the week. And that's, again, it's like, this is almost like trickle off, about trickle down is like, hey, we've got some stuff on the table here, and some of it kind of trickled off the table and fell down to you. And this is how you have to beg for it, because, your $400 a week that you're making is like 2 days. You know what rents are like right now? There's a housing crisis in America. Nobody's talking about. There's an interest rate crisis in America right now. In my state of Florida, even though I love Governor DeSantis and I just want him to stay here and run the state, but I get it. He's running against Donald Trump. Give it a shot, right? I don't know if it's going to go anywhere because it looks like the media wants Trump so they can then destroy him in the general. See, DeSantis actually said something interesting yesterday. He said people didn't vote for Donald Trump last time around. They voted against Donald Trump. They didn't vote for Biden. They voted against Donald Trump. So that makes more sense to me. Now, you Trumpers going to come along and say, oh, it was a stolen election, stolen. Okay, that's a narrative that was created. There may be some truth to some of the chicanery that went on in that, but I'll keep saying it. Donald Trump signed the CARES Act. He signed the CARES Act. So he signed his own political death warrant when he signed the CARES Act, because that had money in it to go to all the states so they could just harvest the ballots and do what they were doing. And nobody wants to come to terms with that. There's Trump media. You turn on Rumble, okay, the alternative thing here to YouTube. And the other channel I have, my videos go over to Rumble. This one, they don't. Maybe I should try to make that work at some point. I think I'd have to create yet another channel, and I just don't really want to. But in any event, everybody on that platform, it's like Trump, Trump, Trump. Even like guys like Jimmy Dore, even like the independent or left-leaning guys, they're very sympathetic to Trump and his followers. And I'm not saying his followers are all bad. I was a follower, but I got off the train because it's a grift. All of this stuff is grifting because, hey, if you support Trump, you're going to get support. Even if you don't agree with Trump, like on the vaccine, you don't agree on Trump. The border wall, which he said he couldn't get Mexico. He just admitted, no, Mexico's not going to pay for it. But you told everybody Mexico was going to pay for it. So, and doesn't that kind of blow your mind? Oh, and now Trump thinks a 6-week abortion ban is harsh. Now, if you're in the conservative Republican camp, that kind of sounds like he's getting pretty much pro-choice because he's talking like 15 weeks, right? That's like the compromise position. I think RFK wants to pass a bill that's like no third trimester abortions or something. Okay, but the pro-lifers, they're not gonna. The true pro-lifers aren't gonna like any of that stuff. But I don't know if I can. That's not my gig at this point. That's not my lane, man. You know what my lane is right now? Let's just manage the chaos. We're not going to fix the chaos. We're not going to change the system. So get people in there that are going to get things done for the people who make the country work at this stage, not just for the elite class. I mean, if this Keynesian stuff kind of works a little bit, like you flood everything with cash for a while and it's crappy for months and people have to kind of hunker down. It's kind of like a storm. They have to get through the storm, but then you got to stop doing that. You got to let things recover, and you have too many dollars chasing too few goods, and eventually that levels out. And then there's supply and demand. People aren't buying stuff, so the prices are going to come down. People weren't driving their cars during the pandemic, so gas prices came down or stayed down because there was a huge supply of this stuff. By the way, no matter who gets the presidency, one of the things that has to be done is we need to be energy independent. We have to be, hey, if it's the carbon, if the cows aren't going to go away, right? You just can't eliminate the cows. I know they're trying to eliminate people, right? I know that was another goal. You're not going to eliminate people, okay? You'll eliminate some of us, but not all of us. So it's just going to have to be the way things are. People want to drive their cars to different places. Yeah, electric is great, except for the batteries, which nobody really has a solution for that problem. And then you have to, again, burn carbon in order to create all of these exciting new products, which are supposed to save us from ourselves. I don't think you can save yourself at this point. I think what has to happen is like a controlled burn, right? Anyone who gets in here and says to themselves, well, we're going to fix all of this because we're going to elect X, Y, and Z. You know who you need to elect? People that are just going to work together and pass bills that help people, all right, and not help multinational corporations. That's what you need, because all of those corporations are in bed with whatever country that they're in, and they're getting sweetheart deals. And what you have to do is, okay, if they're going to get their cut, this is the way I look at things right now. If they're going to get their cut, then I want my cut. I don't want them not to get a cut. All right? I just want my cut. That way they can get their cut and they're not going to treat me differently. And I'm not going to worry about them so long as there's not rampant corruption, which there probably is. But I'm going to worry about me. I'm going to worry about getting mine, because that's what this is all about right now. I know that's not really the Christian way, like, hey, give me mine. But I'm talking about the bottom 75% of the population. If you can't take care of the bottom 75, and I'm not advocating for socialism or anything, I'm just saying if you're going to do this crap anyway, and you're going to print the money anyway, then you know what? Send the money to the people who don't have connections, who aren't a giant BlackRock type corporation, who they're just buying up single family homes. That's got to stop. That's got to stop. They've got, you know what? I hate to sound like Bernie Sanders here, but they got enough. They don't need any more. All right. I haven't done a Bernie in a while, so it's pretty rusty, but he's some truth to that. How much wealth do you need? You don't see, and this is the thing. Before we just had greed. Now we have like something higher than greed. Now we have like a takeover. We have a world takeover happening. And I'm saying, okay, first of all, it'd be nice to shut these people down. But if you're not going to shut them down, then what you need to do as the peasant class, then you need to be like, can I have some over here, please? Can I just have a little bit? Can you put some in this bowl? And a lot of people are trying to like, let's blow up the Steve Bannon. We're going to blow up the Republican Party. Really? Who are you going to put in there? Is there another party that we didn't know about that's ready to go? You're going to blow it up, institutionalize? It's just going to go away? That's what you're going to do? It's not going to happen. Just because you voted out a speaker. You know what you did? You created another problem. You created chaos. You created more uncertainty. You made Americans feel very, I don't know about scared, but just uncertain. Because, again, you hear a lot about the deep state. When I was growing up, I think we had kind of a steady state. And you weren't freaking out every presidential election. You were watching it and you're like, okay, so Carter won. He's kind of an idiot, but Ford was an idiot too. And then by the time you got to Reagan, Carter had screwed things up. So the natural thing would be to go to Reagan, and Reagan did a good job. And so the continuation of Reagan was Bush, and Bush wasn't like Reagan. And then you had Ross Perot come along and say, hey, there's something wrong here. And he threw a wrench in, and so Bill Clinton won. And Clinton actually worked with Republicans. Seriously, I'm not praising Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton is like the Lolita Express and all that stuff. But while he was president, he and the Republican Party, they actually worked together and got stuff done. And that is the last time maybe in American history you're going to see that. That's why I'd just prefer to return to that. Like, okay, you got to make some spending cuts over here, make some spending cuts. You got to give a safety net over here. Okay, give a safety net over there. Do them both. Do them both. Of course, again, I'm looking at our foreign policy thinking that is really a problem. And you've got a uniparty on foreign policy right now. What you need is a prioritized look at foreign policy and say, okay, are the people in Maui set? Are the people in Flint, Michigan set? Are the people in Ohio where they had that train derailment, are they all set there? East Palestine or Palestine, depending on how you say it. No, probably not. Probably not. And until those bigger issues are looked at, not one dime goes over to Zelensky. Not one dime. Now, Americans, for whatever reason, they believe that Zelensky is Churchill and that Putin is Darth Vader, or Hitler. And so what you've got to do, which is kind of the opposite, right? I've already explained that on this channel, but I'm doing it from the normie perspective. The normie perspective on all of this is make it work and make it stop. Those are the two things. Make it work and make it stop. What am I saying about make it stop? Well, make the constant chaos, the bickering, the circus, which is a lot of what is going on with Donald Trump. Donald Trump has taken, again, the news cycle. Donald Trump is living in courtrooms now. And this is great for the media. This is, like I've told people, this is great. Why do they not want Trump to go away? Because Trump is a constant source of entertainment and revenue. So if they, maybe at the very end they'll find a way to get rid of Trump. But if they can have Trump as the nominee next year for the Republican Party, it's a news media dream. And it's really bad news for you and I. Because Trump's the only one that can, Trump's going to fix it. He's going to be a lame duck. If he ever got elected, he'd be a lame duck. And who's to say after he gets elected that they just don't come with handcuffs and say, you're coming with us. You can't be president. Sorry, even though they voted for you. And at that point, I think there would be some kind of an uprising in the country, but the couch potatoes have limited interests in anything, unless it's Xbox or Nintendo Switch, game consoles and controllers. Those are the things that keep people occupied today, especially younger people. And social media, how many clicks and views, even me doing this humble, very little channel that gets no views pretty much on every video, unless Scott Ritter is here, and then he gets blasted for being Scott Ritter. So the point of all this, blowing it up, why, Steve Bannon, why is it good to blow it up? What are we replacing it with? And is that disruption helpful? Is that helpful to your grift? Because now all of the people, all of the anarchists, probably some of those libertarian types, but or even people on the progressive left are like, yeah, man, just blow it up, dude. And some normie who's got a 6-pack of Coors Light, I was going to say Bud Light, but he's probably got Coors Light or Miller Light. He's sitting there and he's going, I just want this to work. I want my interest rate to go down. I don't want to pay through the nose at the pump. Be nice to take my family out to dinner and not spend $100, because that's what we're looking at now. In certain things that we didn't used to worry about, like insurance rates that continue to skyrocket, and all of these just bread and butter daily struggles. I'm confronted with, people want to buy a house. Well, a mortgage used to be like $900 a month. Now it's like $2,100 a month. Now, yeah, you need to stop printing money. But if we had a Congress, if we had politicians on both sides of the aisle, and you really do have to just pretend this woke crap doesn't exist. Just, you don't even talk, you don't even think about it, because there are real issues at hand. Now, if woke is your issue, if transgenderism is your number one issue, right? And I've already talked about this on numerous occasions. It's starting to feel just like a distraction where people can't focus on their own livelihood because they're so worried about the boogeyman. You don't want your kids confronted with that stuff, pull them out of public schools. Seriously, homeschool them, do something, avoid it, go to your school board, do what you have to do. But in the meantime, folks, we need solutions to these problems. And all of this is a way to take your eye off the ball. And I'm not saying you've got to do all that much. I think you need to support people who are going to make reforms but not tear the system down. Tearing the system down at this stage in our history, unless we're prepared to take up arms. And nobody I know, again, everyone's playing Nintendo. People are, trying to figure out their investment portfolio. People are not thinking, hey, I'm going to take up arms against my own fellow citizens, or we'll have to have the military go in, and the white hats are showing up, according to the Trump people. The white hats are coming. That's why we're checking those flight patterns over Dulles. We want to make sure that the white hats are ready. And Trump's going to be reinstalled, and everything will turn back. And Trump, do you think Trump follows any of this stuff? No. Trump and his crew, these people are New York State liberals. You want to know? Don Jr., Eric, all these guys, yeah, they picked up the conservative so-called mantle because there was a big vacuum, big void there when it comes to charisma, leadership. And that was an easy thing for Donald Trump to do, is to jump into that. And, he thought that immigration was a big deal, but he really didn't do that much about it. He didn't do that much about it. If he had succeeded when Biden had got in there, he could have said, come on in, everybody. But there's no way for them to get in if Trump had had his way, right? And he had succeeded, I should say. He didn't succeed because the next administration couldn't just, okay, we're going to tear down. Maybe they would have torn down a wall. Who knows? We're going to blow it up. There are no borders. There's no language. There's no culture anymore. There's none of that. So just, blow it up. And that, again, is creating chaos. And Americans don't like chaos. Americans don't like blowing up of political institutions. They don't want chaos at the border. They don't want chaos in their public schools. And I mean, you know how to protect your kids from crazies, from predators, because that's what they are. Most people do. And the people, by the way, I hate to be this way, but the people who are going to go along with this stuff, those people shouldn't have had children, number one. And God help those children. And maybe someday those children can be helped, but there's a good chance if they're screwed up at a young age, there's really nothing you're going to be able to do. Sorry, that's the bad news. For those of you who want to help children, I mean, there are a myriad of ways to do that. There are many agencies, many private institutions that are helping children right now, and you should get involved in that. But as far as the rest of what needs to work in government, breaking it down, tearing it down, destroying it, blowing it up, that's not your solution. It's like the people that came along and said, defund the police. Defund the police. Oh, okay. And crime is just going to go. If there's no police, crime will go up. Okay? As much as I am kind of libertarian on some things, when someone says, yeah, just legalize all drugs, down the road from me, in almost my neighborhood, there was a woman that had enough fentanyl to kill I think they said 26,000 people. She had that much fentanyl. And there was a dead baby in the house, and there was screaming and yelling, and they called the cops, and the cops showed up, arrested. She's now being held. I think it's $100,000 bond or something. But in this kind of ordinary, sort of lower middle class neighborhood, and all this stuff happening. And I'm telling you what, the drug war has failed, but it doesn't mean that people should be doing these kinds of drugs. All right. And you can have that debate and that argument, but this is why, again, the common sense normies are going to say drugs are bad. More drugs create more chaos. And see what I'm saying? Yeah, some drugs, like mild forms of cannabis and so forth, I get it. And some of that is good for pain relief. I get it. However, when you get into cocaine, heroin, fentanyl, and some of these other things, and there are substances that are being laced with fentanyl, and yet we have a wide open border, and we are having this conversation, this national conversation, that, hey, you know what? Maybe we should just give people a space where they can do this stuff. And then their lives will what? End within 3 years, 5 years. So you're saying, okay, these people, we don't care really about them. So we're just going to put them on a path to death. All right. And then in the meantime, on that path, those people are going to use the healthcare system off and on and rack up incredible costs to that system, a system that is already flawed, a system that many people don't trust since COVID, and rightfully so. But yet we're going to just create and allow more chaos. No, law and order is a good thing. I've come to that conclusion. Maybe I'm just a middle of the roader politically. Maybe I'm just a middle of the roader looking for compromise and coming together and looking at an issue and having people's voices heard, but then saying, you know what, I don't know if legalizing drugs is a good idea. Here's why it's not. Here are the statistics that show that people, look, it's a sinful, collapsed world. And so you give somebody an opportunity to do bad things, and they're going to take that opportunity. It's human nature. So you might want to keep some of those sharp objects away from people if you can. Now, it doesn't work 100%. We know about prohibition. I'm not claiming that we should do that. I'm just saying that there needs to be a little bit of restraint, and it needs to be encouraged. The stupidity of just say no. Remember that? Just say no. Well, why would you just say no to drugs? Because are drugs going to help you lead a more prosperous, successful life? Most likely not. So you get to the point where government, I don't know, government, what's their role? Are they supposed to protect people? They protect people from themselves? Is this dangerous? Is this the aggressive nature of human beings that you can't contain or control? I don't know. I don't have answers for that, but you need law enforcement. You don't need less law enforcement. You don't need to defund the police. That's the dumbest. I said this 4 years ago. It's the dumbest idea I've ever heard. Yeah, police abuse a lot of things. They do things that they shouldn't do. But so does everybody else in society. Well, Dave, police have more power. Yeah, they do have more power, but corporations have power. Certain individuals have power over other individuals. I mean, you have to try to pick and train and do the best you can with these people, because what else? What's the solution? Eliminate it all and just the Wild West? Give everybody a gun and see what happens? Give everybody a gun and fentanyl, and life will just be way better. Nope. Not really. Not really. What are you advocating for, gun control? No. But certain people shouldn't have a firearm. That's a balanced view. You have mental health issues. You have this like a history of drug abuse. You shouldn't have a firearm. That's pretty straightforward, not difficult. Most normies would embrace that. So anyway, I am going through a bit of a crisis because my idealism is starting to fade into pragmatism. That's what this is about. And being politically homeless means that you need to be pragmatic. You're not going to get the crap. All the people on the progressive left, you guys are crazy. You're not going to get all that stuff. When you try that stuff and it starts to fail, people in your midst, like in these cities with the immigration, they're coming forward and they're saying this is unsustainable. Unsustainable. And those libertarian types, yeah, just open up the border. We need people. We don't need this many people. A government and a country needs to be sovereign. Borders are part of national sovereignty. If you don't have a border, hate to sound like a doofus here, but if you don't have a border, you don't have a country. Pretty simple stuff. You know, Donald Trump pretended he was going to install a border wall and he was going to have Mexico pay for it. What a liar. Sorry, what a liar. He lied. It's so bad that Biden is going to start. Biden's not building it. It's contractors that I think Trump already authorized, and they didn't get the job done, and they put a halt to it because the people on the crazy left said, oh, no, you can't do that. Nobody is illegal. No, nobody's illegal, except when you break the law and you come over, and at that point you're not here legally, thus you're illegal. You weren't born illegal, but you became illegal when you broke a law. And look, I'm not saying that little kids and families should be rounded up and put into camps, okay? What I'm saying is you could have a discrete border policy where true asylum seekers receive asylum, but not like through the wave of a magic wand. This has to be done in an orderly fashion. That's why we need Border Patrol. That's why we need border agents. That's why we need law enforcement. We don't defund the police. We don't defund the Border Patrol. And the problem is you've got extremes. You've got the Steve Bannon extreme, and you've got like the AOC extreme on the other side. And in the middle, you've got 99% of us going, okay, we don't need to blow up the House of Representatives. What we need is the House to work with the Senate and pass legislation, and we need the president to sign it, and it needs to be stuff that helps you and me. Not the corporations, not the big pharmaceutical companies. We need our share. Okay, if you're going to play this game where I can't tell you to turn off the printing press, I can suggest it so the interest rates come down and inflation comes down. I can tell you that you should do those things, but if you're not going to listen to me, which you're not, then guess what? You can't beat them, you join them, and you say, you know what you're doing is stupid, but here's what I want. If you're going to continue stupid, this is what I want for myself and my family. And I will still at night think to myself, man, these people are ruining everything, but at least I got mine. That's because that's all I can do. What else can I do? How can I stop anything? You know, you can call your state rep and they're going to say, well, you know, the Chamber of Commerce thinks this is a good idea and it will create jobs in this area. Jobs for who? Well, blue collar, white collar, mostly white collar, right? What about the blue collar? Don't you need to have vocational training for blue collar? And you guys are sending everybody to these elite colleges so they can rack up student loan debt. You know about the student loan debt? It's predatory lending. This is where I depart from my fiscally conservative friends who say, oh, I paid my student loan. Yeah, really? That's good because you obviously got a decent job. This kid over here was 18, was in a guidance counselor's office. The guidance counselor said, hey, you know, you got to go to this college over here. And you know what you can do? You can take out student loans. And then when you get out, you can pay them off. Okay, that guy probably should be in jail for fraud, but he's not. And some 18-year-old somewhere is now like 27 and has $100,000 that he can't pay down because he's working at Arby's or something, you know. So there are a lot of problems, and I want solutions. Student loan, after 7 years, bye-bye. Bye-bye, write it off. Corporations do this all the time. Just write it off. Hey, again, if you're throwing money out there randomly, why not do it for people? And by the way, you just tell these people, look, this is a one-time thing with student loans. It's not like you're going to go to college again and take out another freaking student loan. You wouldn't do that. Most people wouldn't do that. They wouldn't qualify. Again, if they were going to do it a second time, sorry, you didn't pay off the last one. And we don't blame you for that because the guidance counselor was telling you to take out student loans. So here's the policy. We're not going to let you do this ever again. Okay, done. You know, it's called forgiveness, right? Student loan forgiveness. I know some people don't like that word. But in this case, it would be you're forgiven, but there are consequences. You can't do it again. I know it might hurt them trying to buy a house or something like that, but there have to be laws, reasonable laws put in place. Maybe they need to get a larger down payment, you know, just like anything else in life. When you have bad credit, you have to rebuild your credit, but forgive the damn loan. That's what I say. Forgive it. Well, Dave, they're just taking advantage of the system, and the corporations aren't, and the federal government isn't, and the military contractors aren't. So who's got more money? The military industrial complex or the citizens who are trying to make their way through life and trying to get a better education? Who's doing better? I would say the military contractors are doing a little bit better. So I know I'm sounding a lot like a progressive or whatever right here. If you're printing the money anyway, there is no fiscal responsibility here. No one's trying to curb spending. What they're doing is saying, we'll spend money on a war in Ukraine, but we ain't spending a dime on some kid trying to better their life, and they screwed up, and they got, first of all, they probably got some stupid psychology major that they can't use. Creative writing. I got a creative writing major. Okay, good luck with that. We've got AI that can do creative writing now, so I don't know how that's going to serve you. We need more plumbers, electricians, mechanics. That's what we need. We need people that know how to build things, and we're not making those types of people. There should be incentives for those people to go to school. There should be like 0% interest on loans if they're going to take out a loan. And in general, the cost of education should be much lower, if not free in some cases. Free? Who are you, Bernie Sanders? No, I'm just saying it's free up until high school. Have a couple of colleges in state that are free. The taxpayers can easily float that. Build a bridge and have somebody have to go over and pay a toll. This toll goes to Florida State College. It's like, that's how you fix it. In Florida State Vocational College, they have all kinds of things. You can learn how to be a chef. You can learn how to be a mechanic. You can learn how to fix washing machines. These are the things that we need. These are the types of jobs we need. So I think we need a whole new approach to this. Rather than trying to blow it up, you need to reform it. You need to work within it. If they're not going to fix the things that are really wrong, if they're not going to take care of that, then you need to work within that framework. If they're going to keep printing the money, then guess what? The money needs to go down. You can have trickle down, what's it called? Keynesian economics. Trickle down Keynesian economics where the money gets to the people rather than just going to the corporations. Well, corporations create jobs. Yeah, okay. They create jobs. They just basically they create more stockholders and they make their stockholders rich, right? Maybe the vocational school can teach kids how to be really good at playing the Wall Street casino. Again, if they're going to be corrupt and there's no solution to that corruption, there's no ending it, then why not teach people how to earn a living from that and do really well from that? I mean, that's something I've thought about throughout my life. I should have learned how to play the casino. Because that's what it is. And if you're in Congress, you have an unfair advantage because you're the one passing the laws. Maybe that should be illegal, right? Maybe you shouldn't be able to do that. Nancy Pelosi and pretty much everybody in Congress. Well, a little birdie told me, a little birdie told you to sell all your stock, right? Or to buy a bunch of stock. Yeah, that doesn't seem too fair. But in any event, Steve Bannon and Matt Gaetz, they're blowing things up. Poor Kevin McCarthy. I don't feel really sorry for any of these people, not even Kevin McCarthy. He had a difficult situation to deal with, and there is really no solution to this. They had a very small majority, and the whole thing got blown up by 8 people who in the end made America, if that is possible, they made America look even more like a banana republic. So good job, guys. Check out No Labels. Check out Ron DeSantis, RFK Jr. Those are the things that I'm kind of into right now. And we'll see who or what emerges from all of this. Maybe it'll just be Trump versus Biden, and Trump will win, and he'll pardon himself, and he'll go on to be the greatest president we've ever seen in the history of the world, maybe of the galaxy, maybe of the entire universe. Or maybe he'll be arrested and put in jail. That's about as likely. So we'll see how it turns out. God bless you all. See you soon.